welcome to the Financial QB. Richard Reyes, the financial quarterback, and last week we began to discuss the pretty tough decision a retiree has when selecting a pension distribution option. I gave you some different distribution options that may be available with your company. But of course, if your company does not offer a pension, then basically that's one less thing you need to think about before you retire, of course. This week we're going to talk about some of the pros and cons of making the decision on what option to choose. But first of all, one of the biggest reasons the pension decision is so difficult is because think about what you and your spouse are doing. You're kind of trying to basically outguess life. And as you know, that speculating about what might happen in the future does have its limitations. But with a pension, the toughest thing about it is that there's no second choices. Once you make your decision, it's done. Now, the decision regarding on how to take your pension is not easy because there's just a lot of things that kind of take place when you're making the decision. A lot of things that you're probably not even thinking about before it's time to make the decision. So let's kind of take a look at some of the considerations you need to make before you're faced with making the decision. First of all, the greatest thing is that no matter what decision you make, you will have that monthly income no matter what. So there's no stock market or bond market or international market gyration which will impact the income you receive. If you're lucky enough to have a really long retirement, then those payments actually add up to a lot of money over time. But here's some of the a lot tougher considerations or some negative considerations that you have to consider before making a decision. Number one, you have to understand that a lot of plans don't really have adjustments for inflation. So your payment stays the same forever. Now, over time, what happens is that because of inflation, you're going to lose purchasing power. And if we take a look at simple numbers, just taking a look at just a 3% inflation, you're going to lose half your purchasing power in 24 years. Now, another thing you need to consider is that you need to recognize what will happen to your spouse. Okay, will she or he receive a reduced pension? Will she or he receive the same benefit, or maybe no benefit at all? So you're going to have to plan how your spouse will make up for that shortfall, which could be a lot. So that's one big major consideration. Now, before making your decision, another important thing to consider is what's the state of your health and what is the state of your spouse's health. If you and your spouse have health problems, then you don't want to make a decision that might feel good for the short term, but has a huge impact in the future. You also have to consider your overall financial situation because you want to make sure that you have enough to cover your lifestyle, or at least a lifestyle, not only for yourself, but that of your spouse. And you also have to think of other family obligations you might have. Of some folks that might be dependent on you. Do you have children that are dependent on you? Do you have grandchildren that are dependent on you? Or maybe some other family member that is dependent on you. Now, these obligations may very much influence your decision. Now, most importantly, though, when you're making the decision for your pension, don't make a rash decision. Take some time to go over it with your financial advisor that's helping you properly structure an income plan for retirement. It's also very important to have a relationship with the benefits expert at your company on how the pension benefit actually works and how the formula is calculated. Because if, for instance, you're expecting a big raise in the short term within the year or two, then you know what? It might make sense to delay retiring a little bit because that can possibly boost your monthly pension when you begin taking that income. So remember, you can't screw up with this decision. And as I told you before, especially with this decision, don't forget to call us with your look what we're thinking about questions rather than with your look what we did announcements. See you next time on Financial QB TV. Take a look at our books here on the left-hand side, and have a great day.